بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وبعد. Okay, I'd like to welcome you into this talk. This is basically a follow-up of the first two talks I did here. Practical Self-Ruqya 1 and Practical Self-Ruqya 2. Okay. What we found was, alhamdulillah, people were using those two videos to treat their families. So then I suggested to the masjid, look, it would be good if we could do something for people, because those two talks were really just for self-ruqya. So I suggested to the masjid, let me do another talk maybe so I can help those people who are treating their families with those two videos, you see. So alhamdulillah, they agreed to it. And obviously this talk is called Practical Family Ruqya. Okay. First thing we'd like to do here is emphasize the importance of doing ruqya on your children and family. As men, it's essential. It really is important. You know, unfortunately, a lot of ruqya, the men, us, including myself, we're not doing a lot of ruqya on our families. If we did that, then that would be the end of all these people who call themselves Raqis and that, you see, who open up businesses and make money from this thing, you see. You know, that would be the end of it, you know. If we go back in our past, back in Salaf, there was not really, if you probably said to people in the past, maybe in the Sahabs, I'm looking for someone to read on me and something like this, it was unusual. I mean, definitely they didn't have any places called a mahal or a shop saying, you know, Ruqya, you know, come for Ruqya here, you know. This just wasn't in our past, you know. So unfortunately it's been turned into sort of a business. Okay, I'm not going to go into issues of if you can charge for it and all of that. What I'm trying to say here is that the Ummah sort of left it to certain people. And, you know, as one person said to me, oh, leave that for the professionals. I said, this is not supposed to be for professionals, brother. Even if you've checked the fiqh books, it's not, you don't find a profession as a raqi, you know. Maybe hijabists. You know, somebody who does hijab as a profession, but somebody who does ruqya, it's just a bit strange. You know, it's just like opening up a shop and saying, dua, come for dua, you know, I mean, it's not seen in the, you know, Ummah's never really had anything like this before, you know, the way it is now. I'm talking about, you know, it's turned into business, people are making a lot of money from it. Like I said in that first video, you know, people have 3 wives and maybe 2 houses with this, all because of ruqya, you know. And I'm not talking about is halal or haram to take money. That's not an issue I'm discussing here. I'm just talking about the point of we've got too many of these, a lot of people open up businesses, and we've never really had this in the past. You know, people, the men would take responsibility and read on them. So, for instance, maybe I'll feel sick, and then maybe one of you will say, "Saeed, let me just read on you." Oh, okay, thank you. And you'll read on me. You know, I won't ask for it because it's not good to ask for ruqya. But you know, I won't stop people reading on me. You see. And then likewise, the men would be reading on their families and their children as much as they can, you see. And if we all did that, reading our families, then we wouldn't need to pay raqis, people paying raqis, you know. And like, for instance, there was one sister who sent me sent me a message regarding the fact that she thought she had to go to raqis. So before she watched the first video about, you know, how to do self-ruqya, she thought, oh, I can't do it myself. It's just too difficult. I need a professional to do this, you know. So she went to some people and found out maybe there's not enough money. It costs a lot of money, doesn't it? You know, £60 a go sometimes. And if you're on DSS or something like that and you want a single parent, it's very difficult, you know, £60. I mean, I know people who live with £60 a week. You can live with £60 a week, some people, isn't it? You know, and then she just sat back and just said, I can't really do this, you know. And alhamdulillah, the guide, when she saw the video, she said, that's a bit easy, isn't it? Is that all I had to do? And then she started doing herself, alhamdulillah. She realized, oh, this is so easy, I'm going to tell other people. It's just an easy thing to do. It's not very difficult, you know. So it's important for us to not see it as something like, this is only for professionals. We can't do this thing. So when you find one of your children or you're ill or you want to know if your child has got something, what if my child's got pain? You don't have to think, oh, I have to find a raqi, I need to find a raqi. No, you could just do the ruqya yourself, you see. As some people are already doing with those first 2 videos. Another side thing which I've realised, which I've come to realise, is that unfortunately it's not all of them, there's some Rakis who actually won't even teach you how to do Ruqya. And if you ask them, you know why they don't teach you? Because they see it as business secrets. You know, like when people run, I mean, okay, that is legitimate. If you've got your own business, buying and selling, you've got your technique, you've got something, fine. But with Ruqya now, you don't teach someone how to do Ruqya or something like that, or he might set up his own business or something, start doing Ruqya to other people. So there are some people, it's a little, who don't teach you about Ruqya. The reason they won't teach you Ruqya, how to do it on your family and yourself, because they want you to come to them, you see. You know, and you see it as business secrets. And so they, got to keep these secrets to myself, So they might know quite a lot about Ruqya, and and they might even know a very good technique of maybe killing a jinn inside a child or something like that, for instance. But they won't tell people. Why? Business. Another point why it's important for you to do Ruqya on we the men primarily, obviously if your sister as well, single parent, children, it's important for that sister to read on her children, because she can't, she's not married, there's no men around maybe to do the Ruqya. So she has to take the initiative and start doing the Ruqya herself, put her trust in Allah and do the Ruqya herself. One of the things I have noticed, from seeing people going to Rakis and that, is that sometimes when they take children to the Raki and he reads on them, this takes his money, they get a negative result. Then when these people, they take that same child to somebody in their own family who they know, or some beloved one, and he just, doesn't know much, but he does the Ruqya, they get a positive result. You see, it's all to do with sincerity, you see. You are more sincere to your children and your wives than somebody else you don't know. And like I say in that first video, we don't know what the Raki is really getting up to in his private life. I mean, how pious is it? We don't know. So it's better, if you are going to take your child to someone, take it to your friends. Usually every Muslim, they know someone who's pious. If I ask any Muslim, Akhi, do you know anybody who's really, would you say, that brother's really, alhamdulillah, a good Muslim? They'll say, yes, they know someone. These are the people you need to go to, you see, and take your children to them, and get them maybe to do Ruqya and, on your children, rather than going to, a Raki, But ideally, once inshallah, hopefully I show you some basic principles, you'll be able to do your own Ruqya, because you yourself are obviously more sincere, and for your own children to do the Ruqya. It's better for you to do the Ruqya on your wives and on your children. Now, there's no, like remember that I just said earlier about somebody said, we have to leave this for the professionals. No, there's no evidence for this. We can do Ruqya on ourselves, and we can do Ruqya on our own families. There's nothing stopping us doing this. And say, be careful, the jinn is going to get you. No, you put your trust in Allah. You don't fear the jinn or anything like this. You put your trust in Allah, you ask Allah to help you, Obviously, you have to make sure that you are on your religion. You are praying 5 times a day. You don't do shirk, you don't do bid'ah, you're not falling into funny, strange sins, And obviously the people in your household are on the same sort of thing, yeah? With your wife and your children, yeah? If you've got those sort of conditions, then fine, you can do Ruqya on your children, yeah? And on your wives as well. Okay, one thing which is really important regarding the diagnosis is that the diagnosis is never based on the symptoms. Okay? We never base the diagnosis on the symptoms. Like, so somebody, before doing any Ruqya on him, he's got headaches and stuff like that. Headache, maybe he shakes and drinks. As unfortunately, as some of the people here who were praying, I noticed 1 or 2 people here praying, twitching in tashahhud. When you're beating the shaitan, find some brothers are shaking a little bit. Now that's a sign of jinn possession. But is this jinn possession in this person? Well, it could be just his nerves. We have to do diagnosis to find that out. So if you find that you've got someone, or you pray next to someone, and as he's doing tashahhud, he's some little shake, especially with his knees, you find he's shaking a little bit, twitching, that's a sign of jinn inside him. But is it definitely jinn? No, we don't know until we do the diagnosis. So we don't base things on the symptoms or what we see. Okay, we only base the diagnosis on that half an hour or 15 minutes when we're doing the ruqya. When we're doing that ruqya, attacking the jinn or attacking the sihr in the person, and we get a reaction there, that's what the diagnosis is based on. It's not based on prior things that happened before that, or things which happened after that. We're only looking at that time, that 15-20 minutes of reading the ruqya. That's what the diagnosis is going to be based on. Yeah. And as we said in the first video, remember it's like you established a reference point. That's obviously important. Yeah, establish a reference point so we can refer back to that, and you see if there's a difference between what's happening during the ruqya and before we started. That's what we're going to base the diagnosis on. Another two important principles here is obviously the reference point. Yeah, and establishing that and make sure there's no interference there. Make sure that it's established properly. You understand what's going on there, and you have to work with the patient as well. So if it's your children and that, you have to talk to them. Okay, how are you feeling, darling? Okay, you got a headache. Tell me basically how you're feeling. Let me know what you're feeling. Tell me everything. I mean, how you feel right now. And she might describe certain things. I'm itching here. My nose is a bit runny. I feel like something's coming my nose. I feel a bit. Stomach's a bit upset. And you actually. It's better maybe to write everything because they might come up with a lot of issues. You write it all down, and so you can establish a good reference point. Okay, and you can read it back to them and tell them, look, this is how you're feeling, darling. So they said yes. And then once you've established that properly, then you can do the ruqya. Obviously, another important point here is your intentions. As the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. These two things are one of the most important things maybe in the ruqya. Establishing that reference point, because that's how we're going to know if the person's possessed or whatever. Knowing that there's normal state, and then during the ruqya there's a reaction, they've definitely got something. And the intention, what were you reading for? Were you reading to look for sihr? Were you reading to look for ayn? Were you reading to look for jinn possession? You know, that intention is really important. We don't want to be mixing up these intentions and then you don't know what the person's got, you see. Yeah? So intention is really important. If you understand those two principles, then really ruqya becomes very easy, you know, and diagnosis becomes very easy. You're not going to be wondering, okay, what has the person got? I can't understand it. You know, I've not diagnosed them. I don't know what they've got, basically, you see. That will be clear. You won't have to worry about that. You know, once you understood the reference point and the intentions. Okay, what do you need to read then? Okay, remember we said for self-ruqya, all you need is Surah Falaq and Nas. Nothing else. To diagnose yourself and to treat yourself, all you need is Surah Falaq and Nas. Okay, for self-ruqya. You don't need anything else. However, when you're reading on people, it is better, okay, although you could just use Surah Falaq and Nas if you want to. Nobody can say that's wrong, okay, but it's better to use Surah Fatiha. Okay, I'm making this easy for you because what it is what I want to do here is make things simple. All right, we've noticed as well some of the people read on people, right? They will give you long surahs and difficult surahs. For the general Muslims, they can't read these surahs. They don't memorize these things to make it look very difficult. Oh, so you come out of the session, you think, I can never do ruqya. I don't know any of those surahs. Well, you don't really need to know any of those surahs, what they're reading on you. You see, you need only a few. In fact, you could just use Surah Fatiha with the correct intention. That's enough for you, really. You know, you don't have to read all of what they read, and that's what we've noticed. Unfortunately, there's some writers like that. They'll make it look very complicated to you. Why? Obviously, because of business. You know. So what do you need then? Fatiha is enough. Ayatul Kursi. Okay. All right. The last two ayahs of Baqarah. Okay. Surah Ikhlas is Qul Huwallahu Ahad. Surah Falaq and Surah Nas. That's it. That's all you need. Okay. You don't really need anything else. You know? If you want to add more to that, fine. But that what I've just mentioned is enough. You don't need anything else. Okay, let's just look in. I want to do now how to do sihr diagnosis in children. And can I have a volunteer? Anybody? I just want someone to sit down. Just sit down. I'm not going to be doing ruqya on you, really. It's probably a trouble. So this is my. Pretend this guy is my son. Okay. All right. Okay. What you do first of all, you want to prepare some water for them. All right. ideally it would be better to prepare the water outside of the room where they're not around. So this would have been prepared earlier before reading on it. The reason why you want that, you do that, because you don't want to have an interference. Because sometimes when you're reading on the water and the patient is right in front of you, they start reacting. And to cancel that out, you're probably better to read somewhere else and then come back to them. Okay, so what are you going to read in here? Well, you're going to read in here, Fatiha. So sort of, start from A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and you read Surah Fatiha once. Okay, now the intention here, very important, is I'm looking for sihr, right? That's my intention here. Right? Specific, I'm looking for sihr, and to diagnose my son for sihr. Alright? So Fatiha, okay, once. Ayatul Kursi once. Last two ayahs of Baqarah once. Okay? Surah Ikhlas once. And Surah Falaq now. With Surah Falaq, I will read it just like how I read for self-diagnosis. Remember the first video? Okay, so it will be أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر النفاثات في العقد. And you keep repeating that an odd number of times. And at the end of that, you want to blow in there, because you're going to give it to somebody else, you're going to give it to your child. Just blow in there. You know, it's not good to spit in there, because you know, just blow in there a little bit. Like that. Okay? Then. Sorry? Oh, sorry, yes, and you come to the end of the surah, yeah, come to the end of the surah, finish the surah, yeah, finish the surah. Thank you, brother, yeah. End of the surah, you finish the surah, so after you've repeated ayah number 4 odd number of times, then you're going to read the last ayah and then you blow into it, yeah? Okay. Then you shake it. Then you before you give the water, you get them to relax. So you put your hands like this, alright? And this is where you start asking some questions about them. So you get you have a piece of paper with you maybe, and ask them how they're feeling. Okay? How you feeling, how do you feel? And you take all the information down, basically. So this will be like your reference point, okay? You put that down, and then you give them the water. Okay, so just take little free sips, just take 3 small sips. Okay, thank you. And then you tell them to put a bit of water in your hands. Put your hand there. That's enough, like that. So put a little bit. Obviously, a little bit more than what I'm doing. I still want to, Alright, and then some on your face. Alright, okay, fine, that's fine. Thank you, bro. Alright. Okay, then we wait a little bit. Alright. Ideally, if you want to, you have some tissues. Okay, if you want to, you can leave them maybe about a minute on with the water there. Yeah. Then you give them some tissues. They dry themselves. Okay. Then you tend to get another reference point. So then you compare what you've written down. What you did initially. Now they're taking the water. You say, okay, darling, do you feel anything? Do you feel it? And they might feel something. Stomach here, my stomach is hurting me a little bit. Okay, you note that down. Okay, there's something there. All right. Okay, then you tell them, okay, I'm going to read now, and I'm going to read for about 15 minutes, and you tell them if you find, if you find that it hurts or just raise your hand, and you can't take it. If it's too much pain for you and you don't want to, you want to vomit or something like that, you can tell them to raise your hand, okay? Or we can tell them, okay, darling, if it's going to be, if you definitely feel something after the reading is causing some problem for you, headache or something like that, tell them to raise their hand, and you can just stop. Remember, you don't, because it's not treatment, we don't have to carry on right to the end. Read all of the surah all the way right to the end, and keep, once they, because what it is, the whole point is that we want a significant result. We get a reaction, oh, that's fine then. It means that the person's got sihr, we don't need to carry on. Alright? So what would I read here? So after explaining that to the child, or your wife, okay, you start reading. So it'll be Fatiha, I'll read Fatiha, let me go back, so it'd be better to read, say Bismillah, and La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. The intention here is, remember, obviously looking for sihr, yeah? And we say, obviously better to start with the name of Allah, Bismillah, and la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, reminding you, okay, that all of what you're doing here, nothing to do with us. It's all from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah? Okay, so this, just to remind you, that's why it's good to put la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah in there. Yeah? And you can read that for about a minute, 2 minutes. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. After you've done that for about a minute, you move on to Surah Fatiha 7 times. Okay? You read that for 7 times. Okay? Then Ayatul Kursi 7 times. Alright? Then the last 2 ayahs of Baqarah 7 times. Okay? And then you're going to read Surah Ikhlas 7 times. And then you're going to read Surah Falaq once. And then you're going to come to ayah number 4 and you're going to repeat that for about 5 to 10 minutes. When you do that, you'll be reading for about 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, 20 to 30 minutes when you add it all to that, 20 to 30 minutes. Okay. Now, if you get a reaction before that, then you stop. There's no need to carry on. So if the person raises the child raises their hand or your wife raises her hand, that's it. You stop. You don't need to continue because remember, this is just diagnosis. This is not treatment. You don't have to put them through the pain and that. Okay. All right. While you're reading, what you might want to do, okay, you make sure that also you tell them to close their eyes while they're reading. So the whole reading will be done. Close your eyes. Sorry. So the whole reading is going to be done with the eyes closed. All right, when you read, because like we said in that first video, they might see something. You see, they might see something while we're doing the ruqya. Yeah, you make sure as well. You have to make sure you get a reference point as well. Make sure you look at them as well. All right, and it's better sometimes to step back a little bit so you can see all of them. All right, you don't want to be too close here. You might not see something over here. You see, the fingers might be moving around. Okay, all right. What you might want to do while you're doing that, during that ruqya, all right, you might want to gently, lightly blow, not so, just very lightly on their arms, on their hands, just a little bit, all right, just to give the ruqya more of an effect, you see, just to emphasize it a little bit more. So you just blow slightly, not too much, because why you don't want to overdo like blowing, not too much, because you don't want this to cause any interference. You see, because it's, that was itching me a little bit, something happened there, you know some of the kids will complain about these things, or you find the kids, if they're a bit young, they might move around. Oh, what was that? While you're doing it, you don't want to have any, because what it is, ideally you don't want any movements, you see. And what you've got to tell the children is that try to not fidget. Some kids, unfortunately, fidget a lot. So try to get them to not fidget. If they find this a bit difficult, this position is too difficult for them, then get them into a comfortable position. Put maybe a pillow on their back, or a little stool underneath their feet. Just make sure they're comfortable. Yeah, this is all about establishing a good reference point. Yeah, and then doing a ruqya. You don't want any problems, because remember, any little twitch, any movements, that's a sign of the jinn. You see, we have to be careful about this. You see, all right. After you've done all of that, then you tell them to open their eyes again, okay, and then you ask them, okay, what did you feel during that ruqya? And then they might say to you, yes, I felt something in my head, I saw some lights, I saw something, and say, khalas, all right. And they'll maybe tell you that I was shaking as well, I was feeling something. Say, okay, darling, that's it. Then you've got the sihr here, you see, Okay, the child is very young, then you might not want to say anything to them. Okay, don't worry, darling, it's okay, you'll be fine. What is that, daddy? What is that? What is that? It's all right, don't worry. You'll be fine, Allah will help us, don't worry. You don't have to tell them what it is, okay? You might find that before you actually start your ruqya, one of the signs is that if they've got something, especially if there's a jinn there, they're going to get scared. They get scared, start getting scared of the father, alright? And obviously this is unusual, that's your sign to say, look, there's probably a jinn there. We can't say 100% until we do the diagnosis, and we don't base diagnosis on symptoms and things like this. So that fear is something that usually happens. Because the jinn knows you're going to be doing ruqya, you're going to be burning with fire. So what happens is the child gets a bit scared and doesn't understand it. The child obviously says, why am I getting scared of my own dad for? And so they might say to dad, I'm feeling a bit scared of you. Why is that? All right, darling, don't worry. Okay. And you have to settle them down and then do the ruqya on them. All right. Okay, yeah, just one point here about about babies and very young children. You find it might be a bit difficult trying to establish a reference point with them. I remember I had a case where one of my friends called me for, he had a baby, and this was the first girl he had, you see. And so he said to me that the babies, at Maghrib time, it's always crying. at Maghrib time. So I said, okay, that might be, obviously I said, that might be to do with genius, at Maghrib time. So I came over there, and I had the baby in my arms, and I tried to establish a reference point. Very difficult though, baby's fidgeting around, okay, what is that? I'm reading, trying to get the reference point, reading, very difficult to diagnose. So in the end, what I did, okay, Bismillah, I'm going to take it as if the baby's is suffering from everything, and I just did all the intentions, and I just went for treatment. Started treating the baby, because it couldn't be done. I couldn't get a reference point, and I couldn't see if the baby was getting affected by the Ruqya. During diagnosis, it's just very difficult to do. So I just took it as the baby's got everything. So I did that for about half an hour reading, just treatment of the child. And then, alhamdulillah, after they told me, I went back home, they called me after, said, alhamdulillah, no more crying at Maghrib time, you see. So alhamdulillah, yes, probably was to do with maybe the child was possessed because it's their first child, first girl, maybe got possessed by jinn, so it's a possibility. Okay, so when you've got children like that, young children, it's difficult to work out what it is, and you know that you've got other children who have been affected. Well, just take it as if that child is affected as well, and just treat them as well, like you're treating the other children, you see. So, so if you can't work out and establish that reference point, very difficult to do, even when then you just take it as if they've got everything, and you just treat them as they've got ain, they've got sihr, they've got everything, inshallah ta'ala, yeah? Okay, now we move on to ain. Okay, we just did sihr. Okay, what you're going to do with ain, again, the same process again with the reference point and all of that, okay? What you're going to read into this now, Fatiha, okay? Remember, the intention is looking for any ain which the child has been affected by, alright, or your wife has been affected by, okay? So ain, so it will be Surah Fatiha, alright? And you can read all over the body. I mean, you can read like this as well, it's no problem. But it's better to read close to it. Yeah. So you're going to read Fatiha, Ayatul Kursi, okay. Once Fatiha, because you're just preparing of the water. Fatiha once, Ayatul Kursi once, last two ayahs of Baqarah once, Surah Ikhlas once. Then you come to Surah Falaq. Right, you read from the beginning and you come right to the end. And last ayah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. So you repeat that odd number of times, and then you blow. Okay. And the same process. I'll give it to him. You don't have to get this down there. So he drinks it and all of that. He puts over his face and that. So he's done that. Yeah. All right. Then what you do with this one, you get now obviously to relax again. Close your eyes. What you want to do here, for the ain, you're going to be looking at the eyes. Yeah. So ideally, even before I've given the water, I want to get a reference point looking at the eyes. Yeah. They've given me their reference point, said, okay, this is how I feel, Daddy. I feel like this. So you write all that down. Okay, this is how you feel. Now it's your turn to get a reference point. So when you look at them, the main thing you want to be looking at is the eyes. You see. So you make sure you get down a little bit, have a good look at their eyes. It's not good looking up from here. You've got to get to their eye level, really, and see what they're looking, what their eyes are, the movement in their eyes. And what you have to do, come closer as well. Yeah, you get closer, all right, and okay, you get closer. You look at their eyes, and then also from the side. I can't move here because this mic isn't really short here. So then I'll stand here as well, and then I'll look from here. So looking at his eyes, you see, from this angle. So I can see the movements. When you do that, you can see actually the movements better, you see. When you're looking from that angle there. Alright. Then obviously I'm going to start the Ruqya. Alright. I'll start the Ruqya. Okay, what will be? Same thing as that, sihr. Now the intention is changed now. I'm looking for ain now. I'm looking for ain. So again, Fatiha 7 times, Ayatul Kursi 7 times, last two ayahs of Baqarah 7 times, Surah Ikhlas 7 times, Surah Falaq, okay, and we come right down to the end, and you keep repeating وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ for about 5 to 10 minutes, okay? All right. And obviously again during this recitation, you want to blow slightly on the fingers on the hand, but don't blow in the face, all right? Because we don't want to have any interference there with the eyes blinking around and that, because that's what we need. We don't want any interference there. So you just blow slightly. on their hands. Okay. All right. Thank you, brother. All right. The next one, we'll be checking, looking for jinn possession. All right. So now we're going to check for jinn possession. So we've done sihr, we've done ayn. Now we want to see if the child is possessed. Now, if you did sihr ruqya and you saw some, definitely some movements when you did the sihr, yeah, or when you did the ayn, there were some movements like you saw the child was doing some funny things, or things were moving like this, or some shaking. You saw the shaking, yeah, and said there's no need to do this one, mass ruqya. Why? Because there's some shaking. When you get shaking like that, you know that there's a jinn there straight away. There's no need to do you need to do this one, what we're going to do now. The only reason you're going to do this one is that when you know you've done sihr and all they thought was like a stomach ache, some pain in the head. All right, so okay, fine. And then when you do the ayn, again stomach ache and some pain in the head. All right, so then we have to do this one because we're unsure. We don't know if she's possessed or not. Okay. So what are you going to read in this one? What we'll read here will be the intention is now to look for jinn possession, any jinn possession come whatever jinn has come through sihr, has come through ayn, if it's in love with the child or whatever it is. Okay, so we'll look for any jinn which is in the child. Okay, so here you'll be again Fatiha. All right, be Fatiha, reading Surah Fatiha, Ayatul Kursi. Okay, the last two ayahs of Baqarah. Okay, then again Surah Ikhlas. And then Surah Nas now. You're going to come to Surah Nas, and then it will be, when you come to the last ayah, you repeat that. So you read from the beginning. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس من الجنة والناس. And an odd number of times then. Okay, and you blow in there. Then you shake it. Obviously we're taking our reference point and all that, and we give the water down. Here you go. Alright, okay. Alright, so when you do this ruqya, any movements, any shaking you find with this one, okay, that's it. That'll be a sign. So what we're looking for mainly is some shaking we get for this one. Although we might get some headache. Alright? So for instance, the sihr ruqya, when we did sihr, it was just headache and stomachache. You do ayn ruqya. It's just ayn, it's just after the reference point we definitely got just headache and stomachache. We do this ruqya. All we get from this is headache and stomachache. So what has the child got? Can anybody tell me? We did sihr ruqya, headache. During the ruqya itself, headache, stomachache. Ayn ruqya we did. Stomachache, headache. We did the mass ruqya. Okay, looking for jinn. Headache, stomachache, no movements. Is the child possessed? Huh?
Food poisoning.
Huh? Food poisoning? No food poisoning. The child will be possessed because you don't have to have any shaking. As soon as you get something significant after the reference point, it means that there's something there. Because remember, sometimes the jinns are not going to they won't move all the time. You might just get a headache or a stomachache. Alright? But what is the intention? The intention here is to look for jinn. I'm only attacking jinn. So if I get reaction, it means the person's possessed. I don't always base it on the shaking. No, it might not happen. Especially when the jinn is about to die. So when you read on somebody and the jinn is about to die, alright, so you read for a long time, and you can see this from the life cycle of a jinn. Jinn is talking to you, what are you doing here? And it's completely different. You can tell it's not the person, it's a man's voice and then inside a child. Or inside a man's voice inside a woman, for instance, talking like this, and then you keep doing the ruqya, goes down, stops talking, gets weaker, and all it is in the end is just and so you start talking, Raymond, can you hear me? And all it is just movements in the end, and then after the movement stops, it's just complete, nothing there, and all the person feels is just maybe the stomachache, and you keep doing ruqya, and then it dies off, and then there's no more reaction with the ruqya, you see. So that might happen, so we have to be aware that it's not always going to be movements. It won't always be necessarily movements, you see. Alright. So now to look for this, again to diagnose the jinn possession, it will be again I start with Bismillah, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, and then I'll be Fatiha 7 times. Okay, so La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, Alright, and that's just to remind you that, this is all to do with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nothing to do with us. Alright? Then you read, Fatiha 7 times. Then it will be Ayatul Kursi 7 times. Then it will be the last 2 ayahs of Baqarah 7 times. Then Surah Ikhlas 7 times. And then Surah Nas, read from the beginning until you come to the last ayah, Min al-Jinnati wan Nas, and you keep repeating that. Okay? You keep repeating that. Same process as the other two. Okay? You might want to get a bit closer, blow in a little bit, and that. Okay, fine. So that's basically the jinn possession. Okay. The last one would be to check for conditioning, psychological conditioning, waswas, deep ingrained waswas from the child. Yeah, so some child, for instance, as I described in that first video, unfortunately there are some parents who scare their children, with spiders, and I remember there was one parent used to scare a child with Buddha. Buddha means what's that to do? Old man or something. We had one case like that, So scaring the children, there's a police coming or something like this, and then the child gets scared. Don't go in there, don't go in there. And then and next when they hear that word, even when they're older, maybe 20 years later, they feel something, And then we check the person, there's no jinn there. There's no jinn inside them, but they feel something that thing affects them, Alright. So this is what we're looking at now. Alright. So we'll be looking for that sort of conditioning. If the person's already reacted though to jinn possession, there's no need to do this one. Right, like I said in that first video, because what we found is that as soon as a person's possessed, these jinns, they go inside you and they leave their mark behind you almost immediately. They've left rubbish behind you. That's why you find when somebody's got sihr for some years, okay, you killed the jinn's dead, but they still sort of feeling something, but they keep checking themselves for sihr, but they say there's no sihr. You check them, you've got no sihr, there's no jinn, but I'm still feeling something. I said, what you said, you've been conditioned, because that thing was in you for such a long time, you just got to do ruqya for waswas, get rid of this rubbish that's in your mind, which you've been basically ingrained with the, person maybe been told to kill the wife, or divorce the wife. So it's still in his mind, he still feels something, you see. Okay? So for this, what we do, okay, so again, Fatiha, the intention is to look for that kind of conditioning, psychological conditioning, waswas, yeah? That's what we're looking here. Fatiha, once, alright? Ayatul Kursi, once. Last two ayahs of Baqarah, once. And then Surah Ikhlas, once. And now Surah Nas. Okay, so Surah Nas, we're going to read it. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس مالك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس من شر الوسواس الخناس. Odd number of times that ayah, yeah? And then the next one, الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس. Okay, and then you come to the end of the surah and then blow in there, alright? And then you give that to them. Alright, and you put that down. Thank you very much. Okay, well this one, the reactions we're going to get here, alright, what we might have, again, the eyes might go for this one, just like aim a little bit different. They're going to find there's a bit difference with the movements of the eyes, but there is going to be something. But anyway, the main thing what we've got to remember here, and is really important, is that any significant reaction after the reference point, no matter what it is. There are some general similarities, but that's the idea, that's what you've got to have. Okay, what was my reference point? It was like this, and what was it? And then during the walk, what did you feel like? They felt like this, completely different from the reference point. I said, that's it, you've got something, that thing's there. What we were looking for is there. Alright? So that's the major thing here. But for this one, what we usually get, okay, again the eyes will go, the person will feel their eyes will go, alright? And when they finish the ruqya, they feel very relaxed. Okay, when you stop and you tell them to open their eyes, they feel very relaxed. And the other thing is that when that moment of opening the eyes, they feel a bit lightheaded. So when you've done the ruqya like that, you say, okay, open up your eyes, darling. Okay, open your eyes, darling. They feel a bit lightheaded. The room's moving around a little bit, you see, and have to get their balance back together again, you see. All right, so be aware of that. So when you tell them to open their eyes, tell them, okay, you tell me if you feel something when you open your eyes. Did you feel something? So that's a sign. One of the signs that they feel a bit lightheaded during that time. Okay. Alright, so we start, when we're doing a ruqya on them, again, because if it's to do with the eyes, we're going to get a good reference point, and we need to make sure we, at the eye level with the person, close your eyes, I think. Alright, and then, so we Bismillah, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, 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 okay? About 2-3 minutes, then I'm going to do Surah Fatiha again, seven times, alright? Then I'll do Ayatul Kursi 7 times, okay? Then I'll do the last 2 ayahs of Baqarah 7 times, and I'll come to, I'll do Surah Ikhlas 7 times, and I'll come now, then I'll come to the Surah Nas, and I'll just focus on those 2 ayahs, as we just mentioned, we read on the water, okay? Okay, so be A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Qul a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas, malikin nas, ilahin nas, min sharril waswasil khannas, من شر الوسواس الخناس من شر الوسواس الخناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس. So you're going to spend 5 minutes on each one, okay? And then you come to the end, right? Okay. Okay, another point with regards to the ruqya is that sometimes we need to intensify the ruqya, alright, diagnosis, because sometimes, okay, while you're doing the treatment, especially during maybe treatment time, once you know the person's got something, alright, you do treatment and you find it gets weaker, alhamdulillah, the person's getting better, so the reactions are getting weaker, but we need to know if it's still there, maybe the jinn and that. What you can do, you can intensify the ruqya. And how you intensify that, what you do, you get them to hold the ruqya, so this is the sihr, okay? So you get them to hold some of the water in their mouth. Okay, so maybe if I just do a little bit, hold a little bit of that in your mouth, just a little bit, not too much, but you can hold for about, just enough so they need to hold for about 15 to 20 minutes. So it's not going to be too much, just a little bit in their mouth. What you find when you do this, you get a better reaction. You know, it's a bit more, it's stronger now, yeah? The reaction is stronger now because they've got the ruqya you're reading on them, and there's also ruqya in the water in their mouth. So that's giving an effect. So if there's any sihr in the body in there, we're attacking it by 2 ways. Me reading the ruqya, okay, and also the water in the mouth is attacking the sihr as well. So that intensifies the diagnosis now. So we're looking for it, okay. So then we can do that. We can do that for sihr. We can intensify like that for sihr. We can do the same thing for ayn, and we can also do that for waswas, same thing, okay. We can also do this for jinn possession, mass, okay? But what we can do with a jinn possession, which is even better, right? We tell them to hold the water like that, okay? And you've got the fork. Where is he? Waiting for the fork. So now I've given him sihr water, but just let's imagine that was the mas ruqya, okay? That was the one with the meme, okay? I've given him mas ruqya, and he's got that, the child or the wife has got that water in their mouth. Thank you very much. That's a nice one, isn't it? Alright. Okay, so while they're holding that in their mouth, okay, I will place the, can you come a little bit closer maybe, man? This microphone is there. Alright, so what I'll do, so where the hairline is, sorry, but I'm just going to lift this up, just here. You want to gently do that, alright? And while they've got the ruqya water in their mouth, and you just do the ruqya. From the beginning, from Fatiha, alright? Just the same thing. But you're holding this. Now the reason why you're going to do this is that it'll give you more of a reaction. So now you're attacking the jinn, alright? 3 ways. By me reading the ruqya, by the what's in the mouth, and now the fork here as well. That's even now more intense, okay? Alright? This is really important when you're checking jinn inside children. You know, you would just want to make sure your kid is free of jinn, you know? So that's 3 ways to do it. We can even do it even further, even more intensive. We can do the laser, alright? So, me reading the ruqya, alright? So just looking for jinn possession, yeah? Water in the mouth, that's 2. The fork, okay, just here, that's 3. And I've got the laser which I'll put on their hand like that, alright? And you just read the ruqya like that, alright? For about 15 minutes like that. Now, usually, if there's any jinn in there, you're going to get a reaction. No jinn can hide from this. What I've seen from my experience, alhamdulillah, no jinn gets away with this one. It's just too much too much for them to handle. So they have to give something. They give something. Even if they're not that strong to give movements, what you find when you stop everything, so darling, what did you feel? What did you feel? Alright? They'll say to you, yeah, my stomach was hurting me. You know? My stomach was hurting me. Okay, class is right, there's something there. Was it hurting you before? No, it was fine, it had nothing wrong with me. But the stomach was hurting. Okay, fine, there's something there, you know. Alright, so remember, we base it on what's happening during the diagnosis, doing a ruqya. Okay. Alright, so we don't base it on before or after. Okay. Now, we can't do this with, we can't use really these things for when you're doing sihr, alright? Especially if you want to know if you want, because you're going to cause, especially sometimes you might cause interference. The person might have sihr, alright, but there's no jinn possession. That's possible, okay? And they might have ayn with possession. So if you did this with the ayn, what will happen? I give them the water, they drip their ayn. So he's got ayn water in there, alright? And then I put this fork there as well, and I'm going to intensify the ayn. Well, you're not really intensifying the ayn now, brother. You're intensifying the jinn possession. So, what will happen, if I give him, it's sihr, I'm sorry, I'm a bit confused here. I give him the sihr water, and so he's holding sihr, alright, and we diagnosed him earlier, there's sihr without possession, alright, sihr without possession, okay. So, he holds the water in his mouth, alright, okay, and you put the fork on there, he's got ayn. So let's just imagine, to make things easy, he's got sihr, alright? We put the water in his mouth, alright? Okay? Then I put the fork on there, alright? He starts shaking. When we did, without the fork, there's no shaking. No shaking. Put the fork on there, starts getting shaking. Now what's happened there is that the ayn jinn which he's got, that will start moving around. Alright? So that's why it's important not to use these things when you're doing the initial diagnosis. They're good for checking the laser and these things, for jinn possession itself. And remember, it's not going to differentiate, when you use these things, it doesn't differentiate between, is it jinn from sihr, is it jinn from ayn, is it a love jinn, is it jinn, it's not going to make a differentiation between that. It's just going to hit all the jinn. All the jinn in the body are going to get hit by this thing. Alright? So we're not going to get differentiation between that. Alright? It's the same thing with why we don't use Zamzam water. We don't use Zamzam water when we're doing diagnosis, because the Zamzam water is going to affect all of the jinn in the body. It won't work out what's going on, you see. Sometimes people have sihr without jinn possession. We won't be able to work that out. Because as soon as you drink that, all the jinns are going to be moving around. The ayn jinn, everything's moving around. We get confused with the diagnosis, you see. Alright. I think maybe we're finished. Okay, what we just described there, basically the diagnosis when we're dealing with children who are below the age of puberty, alright? Because what we find with children below the age of puberty, there's no jinn manifestation. The jinn doesn't talk. Now why is that? Because, alhamdulillah, because they're sinless. The reason why jinns talk inside people, okay, the reason for that is because the people are sinning, alright? When a jinn enters your body, especially the jinn who comes from sihr, its main aim is it's got to do something. It's been contracted to do something in your body. So its aim is to make you fall into sins, keep away from Allah. They're not praying, not doing something, fall into sin, and then that's how it's able to control you, right? The originality of these jinns in that, they're very weak really. If you're a really strong Muslim, they can't do much to you, alright? But, so when they go inside you, they'll try and make you do sins. And that's how they take control of you, alright? And if you find that the jinn is speaking in a person, then subhanAllah, you have to tell them obviously to correct their iman. Because there's issues with iman here, Jinn possession can happen to anybody. You can be the most pious person, alright? Or the weakest person. The difference is, when it enters a pious person, you don't see much reaction. You can't, even when you check for the jinn, maybe the person is only moving slightly. There's not much there. And in his life, we don't know much what's going on. You can't really see it. It's not causing many problems in his life. But for the one who's got weak iman, there's a lot of problems with them. You see, as soon as you read, or sometimes you just come into the room, the jinn manifests itself and has full control of them in some people, Okay, so if you're going to read on children, don't worry too much about this. Once you know that the child is below puberty, okay, then you should be fine, inshallah. So you won't have any problems with the jinn manifesting and speaking, okay. However, if you're going to be doing ruqya on your wife, okay, and your children were above the age of puberty, then obviously we have to look at their lives. Make sure obviously they're praying, they follow all of Islam, they're not falling into major sins and all of that, you see, because that's going to cause a problem, you see, before you read on them, okay? And tell them to rectify themselves first of all, before you do the ruqya on them, alright? It's very important that they make tawbah and then they rectify themselves. Especially if they come to you and they're asking, Dad, I've got problems, I don't know what's happening, I've got these problems, and they complain about things which seems, when you say that to you, it could be that there's maybe a jinn, you have jinn here, darling, there might be some jinn here. But then you look at them and say, look, you're not really following much of the religion, I see you getting weaker, your hijab is getting a bit tighter and things like this. So then obviously you have to try to give or encourage them to get back onto the religion again, okay? And then you could offer maybe doing ruqya on them, alright? Prior to that, I don't recommend you do any ruqya on somebody. When you look at them, they've not got much Islam on them. I say there's no hijab, there's nothing there, so do not do any ruqya on these sort of people, yeah? Because this is what it will be a problem where the jinn will manifest itself, okay? And you've got problems then, how are you going to deal with something like that? If you still, if you've never dealt with anything like that before, If you do offer the ruqya to them, okay, this is an example where the wife and the children are, obviously, they're Islamically, alhamdulillah, no problems there, no major issues there. Then they should accept the ruqya from you, okay, as the father and the man of the house, okay, the father, because Jibreel, when Jibreel came to the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam accepted the ruqya. He didn't say, no, I don't ruqya from you, the hadith about the 70,000, he didn't mention that. He accepted the ruqya from them. So it's good, it's so natural to accept it. So if you have your friends or family have offered to do ruqya and you're ill, and you're feeling sick, they want to do, remember, because ruqya is not just for jinns and sihr and these things. It could be done for, if somebody's got a cold, or flu. And a friend advises, bro, let me just, I'll read on you, You should accept it. It's a sunnah to accept it, From that hadith we know this, it's a sunnah to accept it. So we should accept it, And likewise, you should say that to your family. If you offer it to them, then they should accept it, Once they've accepted it, but you should also encourage them to do their own ruqya as well, because they're old enough, They're old enough to do their own ruqya. You should, after maybe you've done ruqya on them, you should advise them to do their own ruqya as well. I've got a question for you now. Can we use the water I use for diagnosis, which I just did now, Can we use this for treatment? Can we use this to treat people? This water. What do you think? Think of the intention behind it. Think of the intention. It's all to do with intentions. It's all to do with intentions. Ruqya, most of it, intentions. If you understand that issue and the reference point, it's easy. Ruqya becomes very easy. Okay. So, can I use this for treatment? Anybody? No? Yes? No? Okay, no. Why?
The intention is different.
Yes, that's right. The intention here is diagnosis. I'm not asking Allah, when I wasn't asking Allah for cure. I was asking Allah, show me if there's sihr there. I want to know if there's sihr there, Ya Rabbi. That's what the intention is there. Alright? So if you find you give this to a patient, you say, oh yeah, no problem. Mix that water up and you can use that at night time. Drink it at night. Bro, I didn't get any sleep last night. I drank that water. So, because it's going to cause agitation. What we found is when you do diagnosis, you get big reaction. If there's a jinn there, Allah shows you there's a jinn there. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you do treatment, you find the reactions are less. You see? Because of the intention now. Because now with diagnosis, you're asking Allah to show if it's a jinn there. That's what the intention is there. With treatment, you find that the reactions are less because now you're asking Allah for the cure. Alright? So yes, don't use this water for treatment, because it's not water for treatment. This is water for diagnosis. You see? Okay, let's move on to now jinn manifestation. If it does happen, it shouldn't happen. Why won't it happen? Because if you follow those principles, you've got the person to pray, you make sure their aqidah is okay, there's no issues, they're not blaming Allah. We've had cases where, the person outwardly they look fine, alright? Inwardly there's a problem. So don't forget that there could be problems inwardly. Like there's a person who jinn was manifesting, was causing a lot of problems. What have we found out? Blaming Allah for the issues. So the sihr has caused a lot of problems. And when these jinns go inside you, they start to play around with you, basically. So in the end, the person was blaming Allah for their situation. Oh, Allah's never helping me. He doesn't do anything for me. Maybe the jinn will initially whisper this rubbish. And sometimes, unfortunately, some Muslims, they agree with it, It's like, Allah doesn't really help me so much as I see He's helping all these other people. But I've had this sihr for 20 years and I can't get married and I can't have children and there's some issues, They found, but once that person stopped that and blaming Allah, okay, and they rectified that issue, and the whole thing's under control. The chaos in the house is gone. So you got some cases, and you find that maybe a house might be, sometimes you get phone calls. upside down. Oh, this is happening. This is going crazy. We've got some issues here, brother. You have to come help us, please. Oh, call the police. And you tell them, look, all you have to do, brother, what's wrong? Just tell the person to stop sinning. Stop sinning. That's it. Okay? They phone you back after a few days. Oh, brother, alhamdulillah, everything's okay now. Yeah? Why? It's just to do the sins. Controlling the sins, asking Allah to help. Everything is gone. The chaos in the house, upside down, it stopped, you know. It's nothing to do with, oh, the person's got too many jinns inside him or something like that. It's all to do with sins. That's what it is. Basically, that's the whole thing. It's all to do with sins. So when you watch these YouTube videos and you see all these jinns and people talking and stuff like this, you know, it's all to do with sins. What you need to tell them is you have to be sincere to these people. Brother, look, it's quite simple. What's your problem? Stop sinning, okay? Maybe this is why you've got this problem in the first place. That's why this jinn is complete control of you. Stop the sins and you'll be under control. You could do your own ruqya. Because you've got some brothers who come to brother, you know, I've been trying to do ruqya myself for 5 years. I can't do it. Because you need to do sins, brother. What's the matter? Yeah, as soon as I start, and I can't do it. The jinn's got a lot of control of you. It only can control you if you're doing sins. Alright? So once you tell them, look, control the sin, stop sinning. Alright? You find that they're in control of their body, they can do the ruqya. Right? They can do the ruqya. And all that chaos they're complaining about, all this money they're spending. And unfortunately, I've seen some cases where they keep going back to the same raqi, and he doesn't tell them this. Well, you know, why he's not going to tell them he's making money from it. You see, oh yes, you need to come next week. Bro, it's still big, still a big jinn, maybe there's new, come. And he keep reading on him, it's just making money from him. All we need to tell those brothers, brother, you don't have to keep going to this raqi. You can do it yourself. Alright? You look at, how much money you spent? Oh, I spent £2,300. £2,300? SubhanAllah. Brother, sit down, do your own ruqya. How long have you been paying? 5 years? You've been paying the ruqyas for 2,000, over 5 years? £2,300? Too much. Sit down, do your own ruqya. You know, and you tell them basically, simple. It's so simple. One of the reasons why they don't accept it, some people, it's just so simple. What? Is that it? Yes, brother. Just stop the sins. But they told me it was a big fat jinn, that's what it was. No, it's not a big fat jinn, brother. You know, it's nothing to do with big fat jinn. It's to do with your sins. Stop the sins, you find that your jinn is under control, and you can do your own ruqya. Okay, so let's just get, worst case scenario, it happens, you've got some jinn manifestation, because sometimes some patients, remember, like, they outwardly look fine. Oh, wonderful person. But inwardly there's some issues with Allah. Like I said, there's some people blaming Allah. So this might cause a jinn manifestation. All you have to do is just restrain the person, calm, hold them down, alright? You don't have to squeeze them too hard, just make sure they're not moving around too much. You control them, you calm them down. Okay, the jinn might be talking for a while, just wait. And you just keep calling the person back. So if it's your brother or it's a sister, Fatima or Abdullah, can you hear me? Abdullah, can you hear me? And you just wait until the person comes back. In India, after you, and you have to stop the ruqya. If you've got ruqya playing on a tape or something like that, or you've got something where they've got their clothes is wet with maybe with the diagnosis water, they become very wet, then you have to take these clothes off, because this is what's causing the jinn to come out, because it's attacking the jinn. So take that off, put something else on them, and just wait for them to come back. And in most of the times they all come back. You know, rarely have I seen, maybe only 1-2 cases where it gets too much, alright? The person maybe have to call the police, okay, because the person going wild in the house, and sometimes the person can't even control them, okay, alright, and you have to maybe call an ambulance. That's worst case, that's very rare. Nobody really should fall into that situation. Why? Because you would have checked maybe inshallah ta'ala beforehand, you know, and tell them to be honest with you. Have you got any issues with Allah? Okay, you look fine to me here, darling, you look fine to me, but there is any issues between you and Allah. Sometimes some children, we have to really be patient with our children as well. You know, even if they had problems with Allah, they might be, you know, they're growing up, they don't know too much about the religion. Sometimes they don't have much knowledge. You know, don't be, oh, why are you blaming Allah? Don't do that. It makes the situation even worse, alright? Because the shaitan will just turn around to them and say, see, Allah's not helping you now, and now your dad is not even helping you. You know, we don't want them to do that, so you bring them back to the religion and give them kind words and be a loving and caring father, and try to make them understand, you see. Don't just attack them, you know. Point here, next point here we need to cover here is dealing with what they call mental health issues. Patients who've got mental health issues, okay? What you usually have to do here, you actually have to wait for the person. So let's just take this worst case scenario. So you got a complete jinn manifestation. Ambulance came and took the child, took the person away. Yeah, all right. And sometimes you get manifestations. Remember, without any ruqya, the jinn just appears in some people, just like this, and then you think, oh, so and so's gone mad. You know, he's walking around the streets naked. This happens. And then they take him to the ambulance. They take him on the ambulance, and they take him and they put some, give him some sedatives, and and then they put him to sleep basically. What you have to do when you've got a situation like that, and these people come back to you, and your family members, okay, all right, they come back to you, all right, after that terrible episode, and some of them won't even remember what happened, them running around naked in the streets, they won't remember it. They bring you, they come back to you in your home, all right. You must, before you do any diagnosis on them, make sure they're on the religion again, rectify, make sure that is complete, because you don't want another manifestation, you see. If the deen is not intact and you're going to get manifestations, don't do it. And if you find that they don't want to do any ruqya, then leave them alone. Don't do it. Leave them alone. Don't do it. Leave them alone and don't do any ruqya until they, rectify their deen. Once their deen is rectified, then we can maybe do the diagnosis. And if you do the diagnosis on them, in one case I had very difficult to work out if it's the jinn or if it's the daughter. And in that situation, all right, you find that sometimes the jinn, if the jinn's been there for years, maybe 30 years in this particular case, the jinn will refer to people in the house as mother and father and brother and sister in the same voice. And the only way you sometimes can work out, this is the jinn, is that they slip up. They're deceptively, they're trying to trick you, to make you, oh no, it's not jinn, it's me, it's Fatima, Then they will slip up with something and they say, oh, as you're talking to them, okay, why you got to leave this body, this is not right, you can't be oppressing Fatima like this. Oh, Fatima likes Pepsi. They make a mistake like that. Oh, Fatima likes Pepsi, huh? So you're not Fatima then, you've got them. That's when you know, you see. Alright? Because nobody would say so a clear indication that that person is not Fatima, you see. And then and when you say that, they get shocked. Oh, no, I'm Fatima. So be aware of that. Okay? But what you might have to do as well, you get with your family, the family members there, and you all look, is this your daughter? You work with them helping you establish that reference point and making a difference between them, you see. Then you can obviously say, look, this is not your, you've got jinn's issue here, alright? You've got an issue like that, get them to rectify their religion. Once they rectify their religion, the jinn won't manifest anymore, and then you can do the diagnosis, you see, So when they come back from hospital, usually when these people, for instance, that person who's running around naked, comes back home, they're under control now. This is the person, you get everybody to look at the person. Is this your brother, is this your sister? I say, yeah, this is my brother, sister, yeah, same thing. You remember that running around naked person now, do you know what that person was? Yeah, that was definitely not my brother or sister. That was just not normal, So, okay, fine, that's our comparison, okay? So when they sit with the patient and you say, okay, this is your, all confirmed, they all confirm, this is our brother. He's doing the same things he does, the way he's picking his nose, all this kind of stuff. They say, yeah, this is our brother, Right? Then you get them to get the reference point, all right? The whole family are there, and then you do the ruqya, all right? It might be that the jinn might manifest itself. You might find what you find is sometimes, you might find a shape like that, and you get manifestation, all right? With the family members, then we say, okay, is that your daughter still? Is that your daughter? No. Working with the family, you can work out who it is. Can work out who it is. And then obviously you can say, look, see, subhanAllah, this issue, mental health issue they've got, is all to do with jinns, But it doesn't mean that once you find it's jinns, you throw all those medications that they've given away. No, don't do that. Let the doctors deal with that. Because some of these medication, if you stop it, it might cause some side effects. So let the doctors, the doctors will naturally see, as we had that particular case, they will just reduce the medicine. And then they get surprised. I won't say subhanAllah, but they will realize that it's a big change. And they will just reduce the medicine and just discharge. The person's back home, So that would happen, Another point which is important to mention, like we just did now, the medications. Now, when you find that people have got problems, all right, with ayn and sihr and all that, there's no harm in taking some medication, So there's no harm in combining modern medicine with ruqya and once you find that your issue is to do with jinns and that, doesn't mean you stop taking your medication which your local GP has prescribed you. No, you can do the same two things at the same time. And once you get better, the doctor himself will take you off those medications. So let the doctor deal with that side of that medication, and you can take the other side. In fact, what we have found in some situations, when a person's, when a jin's giving them a lot of waswas, and they've just, they really had a jinn manifestation, and they're trying to control their religion, and the jin's giving them a lot of waswas, right? What we found in some cases is, if they go to the doctors and complain about, I'm depressed and something, and the doctors sometimes give them something, it actually makes things easier for them. So, for instance, there are some patients who've got panic attacks. The jinns are giving them panic attacks, all right? And we always say to them, look, if you increase your iman and that gets stronger, the jinns won't have much influence over you, and his panic attacks will go away. Okay, but in those initial stages, it's difficult to do for some patients. So there's no harm if they went to the doctor and they got some medication. They took some medication. Okay, they have maybe diazepam or whatever it is, I don't know. And they might give some medication, and that will calm them down, and they'll find that the panic attacks is still under control. At the same time, it doesn't mean that they stop their ruqya or they stop their improving their religion. No, you do your ruqya and improve your religion. You've got some time. The doctor might prescribe that medication for you for 3 weeks or something. Within that 3 weeks, make sure you improve your religion. So when the doctor takes you off the medication, you find that the panic attacks are not so much. So there's no harm in taking some sort of antidepressants for a little while until the person gets, improves their religion, Okay, because we find it, for some patients, it's really helpful for them. So they were able to pray, the jinn's not playing with them so much, because what happens when you take that, it sort of cuts a link between the waswas and the person. The jinn is not able to have too much influence over the person, you see. Okay, once you've diagnosed your child, and this will obviously, or your wife, the treatment would be again the same surahs. We said Surah Fatiha, okay, Ayatul Kursi, the last 2 ayahs of Baqarah, okay, Surah Ikhlas, and then Falaq and Nas. All of Surah, this is not diagnosis now, so it will be all of Surah Falaq and all of Surah Nas. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. So it will be that you read Surah Fatiha, okay, before you do that, sorry, you have to have the intention. So depending on what you've diagnosed it with. So maybe your child, most children, what I've seen, Ain, they'll have Ain, jinn possession, and obviously waswas, that will be there as well. Because they're possessed, and as soon as that thing goes inside, there's sort of conditions in them, yeah? So it will be just those 3 things you'll be focusing on. So your treatment remains all intentions. Your treatment now, it will just mean you'll focus on certain things, what you diagnose that person with. If you're in doubt of what they've got, then there's no harm. It's only intentions. So just add sihr in there, add burning the jinn in there as well. Okay, there's no harm with that. So you have your intentions. Let's just take it worst case scenario. The child has got, or the person's got everything. So you ask Allah to cure him, and you can find these 7 intentions. Okay, on the Self-Ruqya 1. Underneath the video, you find there's an article there I wrote for Ruqya Support UK. There I talk about what intentions you need for self-ruqya, but you just have to change it a little bit and apply that for when you treat your own families. Okay. So the intentions are: you ask Allah to cure you from all of the sihr, your child from all of the sihr. This intention, okay. All of the ain, all of the jinn possession, okay. All of the waswas conditioning that they have, okay. Any other any other illnesses that they have, okay. Any other illnesses that they have. Because there'll be things that we don't know of, okay? And you ask Allah to burn any jinn inside them, burn any jinn to death inside them. And also the last intention is to you're reading on the hasad and the sihr network, as I describe those in that article and also in Practical Self-Ruqya 2. So if you want more information about those 2 things, you can find it in the second video, Practical Self-Ruqya Part 2. So once you've got those intentions, all right, once you have those intentions, the next thing you need to do is you're going to, with those intentions, you read Surah Fatiha 7 times on the person, all right? And you can hold their head as you're doing this, because it's your child, it's your wife, all right? You can hold their head, and you find that it's more effective when you hold the child's head, because and some people actually complain of the hand of the person who's reading on the Ruqya becomes very hot. You see, the jinns don't like that, so you're holding them. Is a good thing to do that. And this is probably taken from there. There's a hadith of when Rasulullah ﷺ used to read on Hassan and Hussein, he used to hold their heads. أعيذكما بكلمات الله التامة من كل شيطان وهامة وَمِن كُلِّ عَيْنٍ لَامَّةٍ. You know that dua for children? As Al-Albani rahimahullah says, you hold them and you read. So it's the same, continue the same principle. So there's not nothing wrong with holding the head of the person you're reading the Ruqya on. So you hold their head and with your right hand and you read. So you're going to read with those intentions, Fatiha 7 times, Ayatul Kursi 7 times, right? And at the end of the 7 times, or during the Ruqya itself, you can blow on them. Okay? Alright? And this time when you blow on them, try to put a little bit of spray of saliva on them as well, that spit on them. Don't just put air now. And you can do a little bit more. Remember when we did diagnosis, we only did slight blowing because we were worried about interference. Yeah? No worry about interference now, we have to go all out now. Okay? So you blow on them as much as you can. Okay, so 7 ayats, Fatiha 7 times, Ayatul Kursi 7 times, last 2 ayats of Baqarah 7 times, Surah Ikhlas 7 times, and then the last two quls as a pair 7 times. Okay, and then you blow on them. Okay. So that will be your treatment, and you try to do that as much as you can. Maybe ideally it would be good if you get them in the morning, the children, do them in the morning before they go to school, and before they go to sleep, read on them again, inshallah. If you've got the intentions are there, you find it's much more effective. No intentions there, it's not going to be so effective. So it's really important to think about those intentions as you're reading. Yeah? And there's no need to keep stopping if I've got that intention. As soon as you know you made those intentions, that's it. You don't need to worry. Just like when we pray, we don't have to stop and think, am I praying dhuhr? We know what we're praying. We don't have to stop and ask ourselves, am I praying dhuhr? You could also, during the treatment, get some honey and read Ruqya on there, again with those 7 intentions, and in the same surahs, but you can read just once. Alright? You don't have to necessarily read 7 times each, just do once. And what you could do, you could have water in front of you. You want to prepare some water for your children now. Imagine there's no diagnosis on there. There's new bottles, alright? I could open up the bottles for my children, There's free for the 3 children, and maybe for the wife as well. Okay, there, all right. And you have a pot of honey here as well, and you just read on all of this for your family. Okay, all right. You can read on all of them. Okay, and then blow. All right. And so now the intention is treatment. So you Fatiha once, Ayatul Kursi once, last 2 ayats of Baqarah once, Surah Ikhlas once, and Falaq and Nas. All of it, because treatment now is not diagnosis, all of it once, and then blow. And that's water done. And then you get them to drink that as much as they can. It would be a good thing if they could drink, first thing in the morning, if they could drink, mix some of their Ruqya water with the honey which they've got Ruqya in there as well. Alright? In the morning on an empty stomach. As Ibn Qayyim says in Tib al-Nabi. Alright? He says that it's a good thing to take. And he said that actually this is the sunnah. You take so it's a teaspoon of honey, all right, and mix some in warm water, your Ruqya water with honey, and then you drink that on an empty stomach, right? And maybe wait 15 minutes before you have breakfast, and then have your breakfast. You should also try to get them black seeds, so they can have a few seeds of black seeds every day in the morning as well, and obviously try to get some Zamzam water. And when you get the Zamzam water, read Ruqya on there as well. Another thing which you could use for treatment is the same thing which we described in Practical Self-Ruqya 1. You know that Ruqya soup, if some of you can remember that, which I showed you, all those ingredients which we found that the jinn didn't like. Yeah? You can get all of those ingredients, and read Ruqya on there and get your children to get washing that. Yeah? Get the children and your wife to wash in those sort of things, Another thing you can do is to use hijama, especially when you've got children with, even children, okay, depending on the age, okay. I did this on a 9-year-old once, and it worked, alhamdulillah, using Ruqya to draw out the jinn, alright. Now it's very important when you do this Ruqya, when you do this using hijama, to actually have that intention to pull the jinn out, and when you're cutting, to have that intention. I've described this process, what I call the jet procedure, how to take the jinn out. It's in the article, so if you want more information about that, go into the Practical Self-Ruqya Part 1, and you find an article which I wrote for Ruqya Support UK. You find an article which I describe this process, because I've got really not much time to talk about all of that here now. Okay? But in there, basically, I'm describing a process where we use Ruqya and hijama to take the jinn out of children, you know, and adults as well. Another point as well, you can also get the children to use the laser as well as they're doing their own ruqya. You get them to use their own laser as they're doing ruqya. If you find that they've got jinn in them. If they've got no jinn in them, they don't need the laser. Okay? If they've got jinn inside them, they can do their ruqya themselves, or you could, when you're reading ruqya on them, they could use the laser on themselves. Right? When you're reading ruqya on yourself and even on your family, it's really important, you know, sometimes it can be difficult, that your mind doesn't wander. Make sure you stay focused. What we find, if you're focused, you find you get more of a reaction, you know. Because obviously you're thinking of Allah, you're asking Allah to cure your child, you're not thinking about other things, you know, wandering and daydreaming. Don't do that. Really avoid that. What you find that, especially if you yourself are affected as well. What you find, if you're affected, then the jinn is going to try and do that to you, try to make your mind wander and start thinking about, oh, I need to go to the bank today, oh, I didn't do that, oh, I've got to do this. Try to stay focused on the ruqya. Really, even when you're doing your own self-ruqya, it's important as well. Stay focused and do the ruqya. Don't let your mind wander. You know, stay focused. Okay, let's move on to another thing now here. Generally, there are 3 ways to deal with jinns, attacking jinns basically. 3 ways. Alright? Ruqya, so we read the Quran, Ruqya, that's one way of attacking the jinn. Alright? We have hijama, okay, that's one way. Hijama, Ruqya, so taking zamzam, using a laser, using this fork. That's another sort of way we can attack the jinns. The third way, which we use to attack jinns, is basically psychologically. Now what do I mean by that? Well, ignoring what they tell you to do. Alright? So once you found out that you've got jinn inside you, and especially if you've done specific ruqya, okay, you've got done specific ruqya, and you know you've got sihr, which is to try to make you have a divorce, then obviously when the jinn's trying to tell you to divorce your wife, you have to just ignore it. Alright? Totally ignore the jinn. Whatever they tell you to do, you ignore it. And if you ask Allah to guide you, you will know when the jinn is trying to tell you to do something. Yeah? So that's the only way we have, these are the only 3 ways we have to attack jinns. Ruqya, hijama, and these sort of physical things we can use, and this psychological attack. We actually turn it around on them, because that's what they try to do to us. Give us a lot of waswas. We don't give them waswas. But what you do is by ignoring them, and that causes problems for them. They don't like it. You just ignore it somewhat. You just ignore what they're telling you to do. Right? If, like I said earlier, if the person's really finding it really difficult, this point here, there's no harm in going to a doctor and prescribing some antidepressant tablets until the person gets stronger in iman, where he doesn't need any tablets and he can handle and ignore the jinns by himself. Alright? Because that's ideal, that's the best thing you've got to do. Once you do that, just ignore the jinns and get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you find that the waswas just goes down. You know? But remember, when you do this thing, the ignoring you're not doing it just to get back at the jinn. You do everything for the sake of Allah. See? Because they're going to be, and even when you're looking, whatever you're doing, you ignore everything they're doing. We do this for the sake of Allah. We don't do things to get back at jinn. I'm going to do this now because the jinn will get affected by this. No, we do it for the sake of Allah. We want to improve ourselves because we want to go back without any jinn so we can worship Allah properly again. Yeah? Because that's the main thing what we do in all of this. All of these things what we're doing here, so we want to cure ourselves. And remember, that's even really important for your intentions. We all do all of this so we can get rid of what we've got, so we can go back to worshipping Allah properly again, without any impediments, basically. Okay, another point I just want to quickly go into, which somebody asked me a question, and I just want to clarify something. I was asked about the existence of these aim portals and that, in the body of people and that, you know. Because I think I mentioned that in the first video, okay. That jinns can actually go through, they've got bullet wounds, and actually can go into your body like this. Now, how do we know these things exist? Well, we know these things exist by specific ruqya. We can't see these things. Just like we see the jinn, we can't see the jinn, but we know there exists. Okay? So, I'll give you an example. maybe for instance the father maybe who doesn't believe that we work out a child is possessed basically. It's called jinn. Alright? That father has been telling his child to make sure whenever you yawn, you cover your mouth. Now the father suspects that the child has not been doing that, and he thinks that this jinn possession will be just diagnosed. The jinn have gone through the mouth because of the yawning. Alright? So we check for that. You do specific ruqya and looking for enemies, attack any jinn which has gone through the mouth, inside this kid's body, and you look for that specific ruqya. You find there's no reaction. So you say to the father, Akhi, there's no jinn which has come through the mouth. So the kid's been covering his mouth. Alhamdulillah. The jinn inside there come from other way. Okay, whatever way can they come through? Okay, let's see if they've come through an ain portal. What do we mean by that? A place which has been damaged by ain. Alright? So we look for that. We do specific ruqya looking for that. Attacking any jinn which has come through an area of the body. Call it portal, call it hole, call it whatever you want. Just an area in the body being damaged, and the jinn is able to jump inside from this area. You do that intention looking for attacking any jinn which has come through there, you find you get a reaction. So yeah, it's a reaction. So indirectly you can see the existence of these portals, you see. That's how you know. Another way we know is because when we do sihr ruqya on people, alright, we know we do sihr, we just check for jinn, sihr ruqya on somebody, and we find out, oh, they've only got sihr jinn in there. Okay, is there any ain jinn which has come through ain? And you check for any jinn which has come through ain, no reaction. So there's only sihr jinn inside this person. But then you do ain ruqya. You do ain ruqya and the person's shaking. So wait a minute, is that ain jinn now? Can't be. I just check for ain jinn. There's no ain jinn in this person. So what is that? You know? Then you do work out. You realize that, and you do specific ruqya. You find that this sihr jinn is reacting to the ain ruqya. How is that? Because it's gone through that portal. You do specific ruqya. Say, okay, that's why it's reacting. Because it's gone through that ain portal. That's why that sihr jinn now is reacting to the ain ruqya. So that's how we know that these things exist. Yeah, well, I've never seen them. I never seen a jinn. Have you ever seen a jinn? Well, I know the jinn exists. Likewise, we know that this thing exists, these portals exist, because by specific ruqya. And that's why specific ruqya is very important to know how to do it. You know, it's really important to understand this, and it's all to do with intentions. You know, it's really important. You know. Oh, yeah, another issue with regards to remember in video 2 I described the hasad network. Some people ask me, how do you know that exists as well? Well, you know these things exist. Refer back to that video from doing specific ruqya, okay? I'll give you a story which we recently did. Now remember in video 2 I described to you what about this hasad network, okay? We find that there's some connection between, not ayn muta'ajjib, evil eye of amazement, there's nothing, but for hasad, there seems to be a connection between the hasid and the victim, alright? So this is the victim here. Oh, it's going to fall down. Oh. Alright, so this is the victim. Alright. And in that video too, I described the object as well, isn't it? So this could be, so let's just say this is a man here, okay? And the victim is another man, married to this woman. Right. So this brother knows that this person is jealous, because we know these things. Everybody works out, yeah, he wanted to marry her, yeah, he's really jealous. You can see it on their faces, you know these things. You know, these things you can work out by just talking to people. You realize, okay, this person is really jealous of me marrying, he really wanted to marry her. You know, and you find that there's something coming when you do diagnosis. You realize that there's something coming from this person hitting this poor brother. You see, and then you find you do diagnosis with the wife, and you find that okay, she's connected to someone. So we find that the victim, when you look at this story, you say, oh wait a minute, this brother, we know that person is obviously upset with you being married to this person. All right. And then we realize that this brother is also connected to the hasid, and you do specific ruqya and you realize that there's an object. You're connected to an object as well, brother. You not only there's something coming from the hasid, I've seen now, I just did that ruqya and I've specific ruqya, and I've realized that you've got something coming from the hasid. You do specific ruqya again, and you realize that there's something coming from the he's attached to an object. Obviously, when you look at it, the object must be the wife, because that's what he wants. He wants your wife, he wanted that sister. So, okay. You can see that all of this more in video 2. Sorry, it's going to fall down.
Brother, can I ask a question? Is that the laser that you're talking about?
No, it's not the laser, no, brother, no.
It's like lasers.
Look, laser, sorry, no, it's not laser, brother, no. Actually, it's something, but what exactly it is, we don't know, but there's a connection between them.
It's not a laser.
It's not a laser, bro, it's not a laser. No, it's not a laser. So once we found that there's objects, we conclude, okay, that must be your wife. Then we go to your wife and do look at your wife. Oh, your wife has got some, she's connected to a victim, she's she's got something coming, she's got some, who is it? We don't know. It must be you, isn't it? You've got this situation. So what we did, this person's affected. We can't get the water from this person, not going to give it. So what we did, we told this person, oh look, please wash yourself, we're going to give the water to you. Let's see if this gives the cure here, helps this person out. So they washed. They made their wudu and that, got the wudu, and then he washed. So the wife washes with the water from the husband. What happens? Alhamdulillah, that thing's gone. You read, check it for that line again. Disappeared. They said, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So this person, that has gone. And then what you find that the ruqya gets easier to do as well, because this thing coming from the husband was affecting them. Since they couldn't get rid of do their own ruqya, you see. So subhanAllah, you know, so there's benefits knowing these things. Some people say, oh, well, what's the point of all that? Well, it's important because we find that these things, if you don't know what's going on, and you just focus on, if you just focus on internal sihr, internal hasad and this, and forget about there's maybe outside elements, then you're just going to keep doing your ruqya for a long time. You see, it's likewise also like with the sihr network, you know, what it's described. If you just, sihr is not made of just internal, there's an external element to it as well, which we can't forget, you know. So that's an important thing. So if you find your children, are affected, then maybe washing with people sometimes might be jealous that the child has got, somebody's got a baby or something like that. So it might be possible for the mother to wash her water and give it to the child, because maybe the sister could be jealous that she's got a baby, and that might be possible. So instead of trying to get the water from the sister, difficult to get, we can give some relief to the child. Maybe not relief from the mother, no, because the mother won't be able to wash with this water. That won't, because remember, look at where the arrows are going. Arrows are going this way. It's not going to work, you know. It's coming that way, so it won't work. They'll wash from that water because this person's not affecting this person. It's the other way around. So that's something we realised quite just recently, you know. And with all these sort of things, there's no harm in me telling them to wash. We've got to look for the cure. There's no harm in telling someone, look, you're sick. Oh, we know sort of washing with the people's water helps. So do it. If it gives some relief, there's no harm in doing that. Another thing here, which just talking about this, like this specific ruqya, this just shows you, emphasises the point of how important specific ruqya is. You know, if you want more information about that, go to video 2. But hopefully, inshallah, what I want to do with this one, this is obviously practical family ruqya 1. Hopefully, what I want to do maybe another 2, where we look at more specific ruqya, inshallah ta'ala. I remember just somebody just recently said to me they were amazed when they did their own specific ruqya, and they did specific ruqya and said, oh, I've got sihr side, I did it. You know, when we're showing nafathati fil uqad, nafathati, they realize, yeah, I've got jinn, I've got sihr, bro, it's clear. Okay. They say, okay, work out what you got. So there's general sihr, yeah, I've definitely got sihr. Okay, so do specific ruqya. Let's see if you got problems with the wife, isn't it? See if you got problems with money. See if you've got that sihr. For instance, they check for sihr of money, for instance. They do that. Maybe they do for the wife, for instance, if there's sihr for making her have a divorce, basically, and they get another reaction. But once they check for sihr to see if there's issues with money, you know, losing money or not, sihr to make him lose money, basically, they find there's no reaction. And they said they're quite amazed at the fact, subhanAllah, just 5 minutes ago I was reacting like that with the sihr for my wife, you know. Then I change it, same ayah. All I did was just change the intention. وَمِنْ شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ and nothing. وَمِنْ شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ وَمِنْ شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ. Then I change the intention. See if I've got sihr for wife, you know, to divorce a wife. And they start shaking. SubhanAllah, just the change of the intent makes a big difference. That's why it's really important to understand إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Is really understand this point, you know. Yeah. Somebody was saying to me, you know, it's the old-fashioned side. We got, you know, we should have an iPad or something like that, you know. And what is it? One of these displays. What's all this you got? You know, come on, make it a bit better for the people. You know. And I said, all right, inshallah, next time. You know. Hopefully, inshallah, next time we'll have a better setup. You know. We need to finish now. Obviously, another point we have to do with your families is the adhkar. You know, morning and evening adhkar, really important. Get them to do morning and evening adhkar. Like I said in that first video, Practical Self-Recovery 1, we found a lot of people not doing that morning and evening adhkar, you know. So basically, you left yourself exposed. So there's a lot of pain going around. You know. And remember, there's a hadith about the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, you know, that a lot of the ummah, you know, after the qadar of Allah, you know, a lot of the ummah is going to die from pain. So after, you know, car crashes and things like this, pain is going to be the next killer, you know. So we have to really, you know, be aware of this to do our adhkar, you know. Can I just finish and then you can ask questions? Sorry about that, I'm nearly finished. Yeah. Okay, that's basically. Another point here is read regularly with your children. Even like the children, the babies, if you don't know what they've got, especially if you've got babies, just read regularly on them. Regularly as treatment. Don't do diagnosis, just as if they've got it. Ayn and they've got genes or whatever, yeah? Just do that regularly. You know, as soon as they're young, just read on them. You got them, you know. As soon as they, you know, you get up, you just do as much as reading as you can on the children. And then when they're old enough, obviously, you've got to teach them how to do their morning and evening adhkar. There's another point here, is that you need to also read on your children, using the dua Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used for Hassan and Hussein, you know, if it's two, depending on how many you've got. So if you've got two children or just got one. So if he's got one child and it's a male, it'll be أعيذك بكلمات الله التامة من كل شيطان وهامة ومن كل عين لامة. When you do that, you're supposed to hold the child's head. As a hadith as Al-Albani rahimahullah says he says in Silsila Huda, one notice it's a tape, 323, about 3 minutes and 42 seconds. That's what he describes it. So there's a telephone call with the Sheikh and he's talking and he says, should I hold it? And the Sheikh said, you should hold the kid's head, alright? You know, and if you've got two like that, and read the dua, أعيذكما بكلمات الله التامة من كل شيطان وهامة ومن كل عين لامة, once, only once. So before you go out, maybe you do that. Then maybe if you're worried about, oh, it looks a bit, I don't like this area, you do the same thing to them. You know, there's no harm in doing that again, you see. So throughout the day, maybe you might be reading on them like that for protection. And that's protection. Okay, protection. On top of that, you know, and you can do that for children as well, little children as well, and babies. On top of that, because remember, they can't do their morning and evening adhkar. And it's just, they're not able to recite it. So you're supposed to be reading this dua for them a lot during the day, as much as you can, you know. You know, throughout the day, you read that for them when you find, you know. And you should do regular ruqya on them as well. Regular ruqya, you know. Don't just, you know, every 3 months or whatever. As much as you can, you know, reading on them, you know. Okay, we'll leave it there. Is there any questions? Anybody questions? You have questions? No.
Looking at the cover, can I overtake cover? What's the Islamic point? I'm just a little bit off topic.
Yeah, you know, brother, I've actually forgotten the explanation of that.
Can I overtake it?
No, I don't want to say anything about it because I've actually forgotten the definition of that. Does anybody know? There's a hadith about that, yes. I don't know, you know, I've forgotten about that actually. I did read about it, but you know, sorry brother. One thing I'll tell you though, one issue I'll tell you about though, is that I remember somebody, I don't know if you can relate this to the hadith. I remember Sheikh Khalid, alright, one of the Sheikhs I know, he interpreted a dream for somebody. This is what he told me. He told the brother, oh, so-and-so, this is going to happen to you. Maybe he's going to get married, he's going to get money or whatever like this. So he told the brother this. That brother, happy or excited, you know what he did? He went to his enemy, somebody who doesn't like him, deliberately, just to, you know, you know what's going to happen to me. And he told him the thing. And then comes back to Sheikh Khalid after a few weeks, the thing didn't happen. I said, Sheikh, what's going on? That thing didn't happen. I've told my enemy that what's going on. He said, did you tell someone? He said, yes, I told that so-and-so. Gave you aim. That's what it is. Does he like you or anything like that? He investigates it, he doesn't like me. You're not supposed, when something like that happens, you don't go around, especially, you tell people you love, you don't go around, deliberately telling someone to enrage them as well. And that's not a good thing to do. Anyway, even if it's you're a Muslim person or somebody you don't like anyway, you don't go there to them, this is going to happen to me, this is going to happen to me kind of thing, It's not a good thing to do anyway, no matter if they were your enemy, So, I don't know if that's related though, brother. That did happen, That's what the Shaykh told me, Any other questions? Yeah.
And these the last two surah of Quran, they have as well treatment from everything. Ayn, Sihat,
Yes.
possession of jinn. So question is why to waste time with diagnosis, just make intention, read for everything. From Ayn, from Sihat, from evil like in surah, and just treat everybody without wasting time with diagnosis. What's the point of the diagnosis? And did it have any basis in Sunnah diagnosis before? Because in Sunnah we know from Prophet that just read, and hadith about Hassan that one Sahabi, he was blushing, he was naked.
Yes.
When they make him Ayn, basically he fell off, he was almost paralyzed, they had to carry him. You don't have to make diagnosis, people, men is dying. Or when Prophet he was sick from himself, he could not know if he read prayer or not, he see things from far that they are close. As well, there's no point of diagnosis, you are 100% sure. So, what's the point of diagnosis? And maybe through this diagnosis, we just, make self-suggestions that I possess, but basically I don't have anything,
No, but then, what it is, because you have to be certain of because when you do the treatment, some situations, if you know that a person is really affected, then you don't need to do the diagnosis. Like I said, for instance, sometimes you've got cases where, at the baby, you can't tell, you can't get reference point, you don't know what's wrong, you see, alright? Then you just have to treat them as it is, you see, okay? Because there's nothing wrong with doing a diagnosis, it's better because you know why? You'll be able to be certain what the person has got. You want to know, have you got jinn possession or not jinn possession? You have to find out, you have to do ruqya on yourself to find that out. You see, you can't just, and that's what all Warakis they do. You read on the person to find out what's wrong with them first of all. And they may, like I've said in that video too, they may never say it to you, but that's what they're doing. Is you come to them, they've never known you, so they read on you, and then they say, okay, you've got sihr, or you've got jinn from that when they see you. You see, and that is in there. Innamal a'malu binniyat. It's part of that hadith is the evidence that look, you have to have it's by intentions. Whatever you're reading for, that's what you get. You see. Is that alright, brother? You understand what I'm saying? Because you've got to know because if you're in doubt, is the person possessed or not? And if you ask Allah sincerely, alright, what we have found, if you're sincerely asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, okay, if you sincerely ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will show you. Alright? That's what I've seen. Especially if the person's not taking money, and you're doing your own friends and your own family, and you're checking yourself, you ask Allah, Rabbi, show me, I want to know if I've got sihr, please, you show me, You ask Allah, because it's a dua, you're asking Allah, show me if I've got sihr, and you read that. Well, what are you doing? You're asking Allah to show you if you've got sihr. Then you react, it means that you've got jinn. And what we've seen, if you take out these rakis and do it yourself, and do your own family, you always get it. You always get the right answer. Take out these other people you don't know, you deal with the situation yourself, you treat yourself, and you treat your own family. I've never seen any cases like that. When people do that, they don't get it wrong. They always know what's happening. You see, they always get a positive result, or they get negative result, saying, no, definitely not sihr there. There was definitely ayn there, but there's definitely no sihr. It's all to do with asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then this suggestions of waswas, I've got it, not got it. You don't get this. You do it yourself. You ask Allah, Ya Rabbi, please show me. You sincerely ask Allah, Allah shows you. Especially if you're somebody who's under religion and you're not sinning. There's no sin there, because remember, ruqya is a dua. You're not doing any sins in that, and you ask Allah, please, Rabbi, show me. You cry to Allah, because some situations people are confused, they don't know what's happening. They go to Rakis. Rakis are because they're not just taking money from them, they don't know what they've got. They come back, going around, they don't know what's going on. Then they just, in the end, I'm going to do it myself. And they get the reaction, you see. It's all to do with sincerity, If you do it yourself, you sincerely ask Allah, Allah will show you. And you won't even have any doubts, Okay, really. That's what I've seen from my experience. People do themselves like that. SubhanAllah, you find out what you've got, and even for your family and that, when you're treating them, because it's your family, you get the right answer, And SubhanAllah wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.